right, my lovers, it's 2013 and we're recovering from the biggest event the UK's ever held. No, not the Olympics, silly, the introduction of an invert 14 years after Alton Towers. But in other news, the Sidemen are now a thing on this fandangled thing called YouTube, and the Royal Myle has outlived the milk stealer. Ding dong, the witch is dead! Oh, welcome to 2013, you guys. Yep, it's been 83 years since the park has opened, and things are starting to get a little bit spicy, because over the last couple of episodes we've been working on the park to bring it into the future, and I get that they're not shiny new roller coasters over those episodes, so welcome back if you're coming back. I understand that you couldn't be bothered to watch them. I get it. I don't hold it against you. So, let's take a real quick tour of the park just to see what you have missed. This was last week's episode. This is the Alpine area that we put in. And do you know what? This is actually feeling like it's an area that's grown up around a park history rather than the usual park series that just sort of like places them and then we make a history around it. So it actually feels like it's grown up around that space. Then, of course, we've got the fairy tale area that's next to it, and that's where we put the B&M sit down. But nothing much has happened in here since the 70s, I think it was. Then, of course, to the left-hand side, we've got the corkscrew, and we've got the adventure area, and then the thrill rides that we put in for the 90s, and then you come around into the western area where you may have missed that the 3 thrill rides are now in, so out with the old and in with the new. Of course, you've got the junior coaster, you've got the mine train there, you've got the log flume. And down here, we've got our spoopy-doopy haunted house, which hasn't changed since the 50s. It's still going strong. In the back end, then, by the graveyard of all of the stuff that's that's over there, we've got the suspended coaster that's sitting pretty on the sightline. Then, of course, you've got the kids area that's now been put into place instead of the entrance area. In front of that, you've got no theme landia, which is a bit of a sorry dumping ground for a couple of flat rides in the hope that it's all going to look good. Then we had in the year 2000 the brand new entrance area and car park that was put in. That was a big old task. That was a big undertaking. And then we're kind of left with this sort of piratey theme area and sort of nothingness area. And we have the Big Dipper sitting in the background. This is, by the way, now protected, so it's grade. I'm going to say it's grade 2 listed, which means that we can't do anything to it. It stays. So no, it's not being RMC'd ever. Let's put it to bed. But in front of that, we have Bluebird. Brutal decision time, guys, because this has happened. Sorry, everybody. It just had to go. Bluebird would have reached the end of its useful service life. Maintenance would have become an absolute nightmare. And rather than retrofit it with electricity like Kings Island did, it's just easier to tear it out and make way for something new and shiny. And it also means, by the way, that we can make sense of this pirate area finally. You know, it's only been 50 years. But hello, Mack. Mark, however you want to say it. I don't know how you say it. It's German. It's probably Mark, isn't it? We've got a water coaster. It's Krampus Expedition all over again, right? I need to be very careful with this one because the Cadnam Castle one was also pirate themed, and I want this to be different enough to be different, but similar enough for it to be similar. So this is what we've got. Here's the station then. It goes into the S-bend and then into the lift hill. I have taken my lessons from Cadnam Castle. I now have a completely flat refuge area so that you can evacuate the train from here if you want to. And you get to the top of the lift hill and it just enters into a snake pass. Now, I did need a specific length of time between the bottom of the lift hill and this drop here because of timings and dispatches and stuff. So that's why it does this rather than a figure of 8. And plus it also means that we can make it look like something naughty from the top. And then you enter the splash zone. Which is all along here. I am going to make this a pool of water, but I don't quite know how this is going to interact with the pirate ship yet. I haven't quite determined that, but it comes around this way into the brake run and then into the station. Queue line then is going to wrap around the top. I've got an idea for a building, and that's why it's wrapping around the top and then into a cattle pen down here. Sorry, Tilt-A-Whirl, you have had to be retired. You do still exist, you're up here, but you've had to be retired. And then, of course, we do have new rides. We've got the pirate ship in here, and then we've got the whirly rig. That's another new one in here. So there's a couple of things that have actually already gone, but I have, of course, left all of the original mess in because you guys like to see where things were before I start tearing it out. Talking of tearing things out, let's do it. Ooh, it's all so piratey and it's coming together so well. It's the middle part of the episode, guys. It's been a while. It's been a week. 2 in a row, you lucky things. But yeah, look how this is coming together. I am absolutely loving this. I mean, it's sitting pretty much as I wanted it to on the sight line. The change in the area is drastic enough for us to go, that's quite a change. And there have been some really brutal decisions that I've had to make in this area. There's a couple of things that I kind of wish I'd done differently. You know, like, should this have been as squished in as it is? No, maybe not. I probably did have a bit more space than I gave myself credit for. Do I kind of wish I didn't put the pirate ship in this location? Yeah, but I kind of committed to it, and that's what it was. And then, of course, the whirly rig has moved from here to over here because it just didn't fit. It just did not suit the area that it was in, and I thought actually it makes more sense for it to be down here and for me to repurpose the pathway that's going along here, right? So lots of reconfiguring of the area going on. You'll see we make this joke every single time we do a pirate area. It's all about the boat. I've used something similar in Chatterlandia. I used it in Grosvenor Gardens. I probably did it in Cadnam Castle, and I'm definitely doing it here. This is this whole boat thing, this whole centerpiece of a boat. It's a thing. It's a Chateau staple, just like Chateau toilets and cheese chase and all that usual crap. So we're going for it, but actually we're spamming it around because this area here, I didn't actually want it to replicate what's inside the dark ride over here, because that's a whole story, right? That's a whole scene, that's a whole set piece that's been put together. So with this one, I just wanted it to be nice and simple, going through a shipwreck and then going through turbulence and tsunamis and whatever, and then coming down into the splashdown. So that's what I'm going for here. Lots of piratey stuff that's going to be shifted around. And I mean, I was building this station building, I was thinking to myself, what is the difference between Western and pirate? And there actually isn't that much. They share a palette of stuff, like they share all of the wood. The difference is, this looks a little bit Western at the moment, right? Because it doesn't have any of its pirate clutter. This, however, looks decidedly pirate. You could quite easily swap out all of the pirate stuff for Western stuff, and it's still convincingly Western. So this is what I kind of like about the whole building palette in Planet Coaster. Frontier did a pretty good job of making stuff pretty generic. You can make almost any theme by just swapping out some of the set pieces. So anyway, this is the station building. It's one I've used actually quite a bit. I used to use a style like this in Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 before the days of YouTube and before the days of doing videos and stuff. So actually, this has worked out kind of nicely. And I do quite like how the pathway, the queue line, is coming around the top here, and then it filters down into the building as opposed to around the outside of the building. I wanted that to feel slightly different, right? Because my station buildings, as you can see, are just boxes. But I wanted this to be a box that made sense. So on the outside of the building, whilst we were just talking about this, we've got all of the pebble stuff going on. So I've put all of the concrete channel in. Guys, that takes so long, and people don't even really appreciate the effort and stuff that goes into it, right? And I'm alright with that, I'm okay with that, but I just couldn't leave it undone. So I've done the concrete channeling, I've put the pebbles down, and now it actually feels like it's a proper concrete channel. And then inside the station, I've started to kit this out inside here. So I wanted the idea of a balcony. I tried doing this in the Alpine building and it kind of failed miserably, and I thought I'm going to try it again in here, because inside here needs to feel like a boat. It needs to feel like it's the bow or the bridge of a boat. So that's what we're going for here. This is just like the balcony. I'm going to put loads of like pirate clutter and stuff up here, so it's all going to make sense. But the reason that there is the balcony is because you enter the building from the top here and you have to go down the stairs. So you're already at this sight line level. You can already see across to the balcony. So if we make a set piece of something over there, then it's at least something decent to look at in the station. And then down here, I've just put the pirate fence and stuff in here. I haven't used the pirate fence. It's a cliche, and I love it. I'm so here for it. But yeah, so that's what we're going for inside there. And then on the outside, what I'm doing here is I'm just starting to line off the pathways with the rocks and stuff. I don't think I'm going to put a path cover on this one for a couple of reasons. This is a different height level. It's a bit difficult to work with. The textures that we've got in Planet Coaster for this particular area are actually looking pretty decent, so I think I'm going to keep it like that. And I do just want to use foliage and stuff to make this come to life a little bit. But I just want to keep this nice and simple. This is not the main focal area of the area. The focal point of the area. It is just the exit of the ride, right? So it doesn't exit into the focal point of the area, so you just kind of need to make this make sense. And likewise, I've purposely decided not to put any food units and stuff down here. I've removed them all, and that's because we've got all the food units over here, and we've still got this one up here. I debated whether it was going to be the right photo building. I debated whether it was going to be a food unit. I've kept it as it is. And it's alright, I'm alright with that. This building here then is the maintenance building, so these do have like pump houses and maintenance and service buildings. I didn't have room to put it alongside here. In an ideal world, this would probably be it, right? So if you look at all of the other Mack coasters, water coasters, they have their service buildings and stuff directly next to the station. This would be perfect for access and stuff, but actually I thought, no, this still needs to be a shop, and I didn't have enough room to make it wider. You saw me put the original footprint down here, but actually it was starting to interact with this pillar from the cable cars. I didn't have anywhere else I could relocate the cable car pillar to, so actually I just decided to make this a work area and put the building here. This works just as fine. Is it as efficient as it could be? No, it's not. Does it work? Yes, it does. So that's what we're going for here. I'm not going to do the inside, partly because I can't be bothered, and partly because we don't have the assets to do the water pumps and stuff justice inside there. So I'm just going to keep that blank, but I am going to kit out the area down here because, of course, this would be the maintenance area. And then I have, of course, then just put a partition wall up here so you can hide the maintenance area from the main ride. Lots of pirate clutter in this area is then going to make it a set piece, and it's all going to be good. So you'll never know that the maintenance area is behind there. But what I have done, I started to put some of the accent stuff here, you know, like the pipes, and there'll be other bits and pieces that I'll put in here. Now, the reason that I've not done that is because this whole structure just needs to be completed. It's a right mess at the moment. I mean, look at the state of it. It's not even supporting itself. Hashtag realism. But what I want to actually, it's not supporting itself on either side. Hang on, look. Oh, that's terrible. But this is just a placeholder for a minute because I just wanted this idea of the trains coming like down the drop and then into the splash zone as it comes. Here we go. There it goes. Splash. And I wanted it to go underneath as if it's going through a cave. Now, I have taken the deliberate decision to not do the double down. I know that the Mack coasters and stuff do. I've deliberately done that. Now, that's because I didn't actually have room when I was designing this to do the double down because the pathway and stuff was going to be here and the queue line and whatever. So there's just no room. I couldn't bring it back any further than this because you're going to start to encroach into the area of the Woody, and like I say, that's now protected. It's grade 2 listed, so there's certain things you can't do around the area, and building a coaster of this nature is is one of them. So yeah, that's what I've done here. At the top here, I've taken the absolute brutal decision to get rid of the flower beds. I really don't like it, but I had to do it because I just needed this area to be clear. So there is going to be a flower bed, but it's going to be different. But the reason for it is because I needed to widen this bit because I put custom supports in here for this part of the coaster. So this is probably about as much as you can get away with near a grade 2 listed structure. Started to do all the fencing and stuff on the outside, lining off all of the pathways, and then just done some detailing work around the pirate ship, which I'm not going to do much more to because the game just doesn't even recognise it exists anyway, so what's the point? And the last bit in here, I'm just going to put some like treasure islands in the middle here just to break up the area a little bit. And look what's back! Indian sandstone, because I love this texture so much. It's going to look so good. It's going to make this area look so much brighter. So I've waffled for 9 minutes, and most of you are still here. Can't think why, but you're probably here for the ending now, right? You are definitely want to see how this turns out, so I'll see you in a minute. So the one thing that I absolutely love about building a park over the years, especially as this one has been since 1930, is that you've got to get so creative with your later editions. You've got to make sure that you are totally respectful to your areas. You've got to fit stuff into the space that you've got, rather than having this complete license to go ham and put whatever you want, wherever you want, and then thumb in some kind of history afterwards. And I mean, if I remember, I'll put in a before and after shot of this area, because it is actually a really stark, contrasting change. But do you know what? This has turned out to be one of those really perfectly awkward editions. It just feels, I don't know, real. It's just come to life, and the Indian sandstone has absolutely done that. Like, it's just, I'm so glad I took the decision to change it from the dark stone to the Indian sandstone, because, like I say, it just makes it so come to life. And so have the effects. Like, this is a park that would have spent money on effects, and there's lots of stuff going on. You know, there's a lighting package, there's smoke packages, there's all sorts of stuff going on. Other parks, you will remain nameless, but shots are about to be fired at you. You would not have maintained these effects, but we are going to, because they are important to us. It's 2013, and it's time for us to have marketing. And you hear that? That's right, that's the return of Ross Budgeon. Do you remember? I'm sure I'm saying his name wrong. Do you remember the music we found for Cadnam Castle that was perfect? It's not the Plumper Pop music, but the Western music. So I found this track, and this is the perfect theme tune for this ride. I didn't want to use the in-game one. His stuff is copyright free and whatever. So I just thought, yeah, let's have a custom soundtrack, because that's exactly what this area would be. So, like I say, this area has come together really, really nicely. There's lots of lovely little details in here, like these two islands that are living here. They give this perfect Treasure Island feel with the pirate ship in the background. Like, it gives us this amazing little sight line. And of course, over here you've got the splash zone that's not really a splash zone because you definitely won't get splashed here, but you get a really good sight of the rock formations, which, by the way, now do touch the ground. I did fix that. Or finish it, should I say. It was never finished to start with. But yeah, so it kind of gives this awesome stuff going on. And then, of course, the queue line here, it's all perfectly fitted out as a queue line. This is exactly as I wanted it to be. And as always, the path covers make it look polished. You manage to hide all of the stuff underneath it, and it just creates one long, continuous plane of whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to call it. And I've decided to call this one Sea Dog Shore, just because I didn't want to call it Buccaneer Bay or Swashbuck Bay or anything like that. Sea Dog Shore, there we go. And this is really simple and effective. I actually woke up in the middle of the night with this idea. I was like, what would it look like if you put the two masts with some poles in the middle and a sign on it? And that's what it looks like. And I quite like how it turned out. And the station building here, I have kept this one nice and simple too. I only wanted it to look like this. I did have visions, actually, of putting all the rock work and stuff up to the wall, but because of the size of the rock work and the way that it clips through, it just didn't work. So actually, I just decided to keep it as a shed. And remember, I said in the last update, it's different between whether it's always different between whether it's Western or pirate. And yeah, it's become pirate because you just scatter around a load of pirate stuff and call it done, right? I love how the queue still wraps around here, and I love how it goes down inside the station. And then inside the station, I have just cluttered it out. And this is everything I wanted it to be. Like, this is just perfect for what I wanted it. Is it high detail and is it beautiful? No, probably not. Some of you will probably sit there thinking, oh, Wix's stuff is better, and it absolutely is, because Wix is a legend. But this is good for me. This is everything I wanted this to be, because the area just feels right. I did decide to put this on the roof. I'm not entirely sold, right? But it felt like it needed something on there, and I didn't want to do something custom because it just didn't look right. So I used the in-game thing. It does what it needs to do. I'm okay with that. It's fine. And then this is the scene that we made for this area. Again, it's all just pirate clutter. There's no storyline to this. It's nothing fancy. It is what it is. It's just something to hide the fact that behind there is the maintenance area, and this is the main water pump building and stuff. So we're just going for that. A couple of pirate bits going on, a couple of animatronics and stuff, and call it done. And then, of course, we've got the boat. And I've just put some foliage and stuff around. These are actually the TNTK, aloe vera, and algarve. Algarve, I think, plants that you can get off the workshop. They're actually in pots. You just sink them down into the pebbles, and they actually look like they're new shoots and stuff. So that's kind of what I wanted to go over here. Nice and clean, nice and effective, nice and simple. And now that actually makes the concrete channeling and stuff work. It makes it all make sense. It makes it all just there. We come around this way, and then we've got the main catwalk area. So yeah, that's where you find all of your catwalk clutter and stuff. And then on the floor here, this was the last thing that I did put in. I've actually put in a coloured concrete pad. I didn't want this to be a terrain-based pool. I wanted this to be an unnatural man-made pool. So I've put in the water at the bottom, and then I've just coloured it blue because that's what the park would do to make it look like it's an impression of blue water and stuff. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. Then in terms of the pirate ship, I've just kitted it out. As I said, Planet Coaster really doesn't care that this pirate ship exists, and it's a real shame because it's such a beautifully decorated ride. So what I've done is I've just given it its own little pier, given it its queue line, given it some clutter and stuff just to make it all come to life. And yeah, it looks good. It fits in. Do I think it would have a different place elsewhere? Yeah, I think it would. In hindsight, do I wish that I didn't put it in there? Yeah, I kind of do. But actually, when you think that the original Bluebird stuff came around this way, I think we've used the space quite well. I think it's a new layout, and I think it works. I think it's just right for what we're trying to achieve. I did decide not to bring Big Dipper into the pirate area, even though officially it is in the pirate area. I've decided not to retheme it and stuff because I was like, oh, actually it's a classic. But what I did do was the planters and stuff along here, I have just brought those up into the pirate realm. I didn't want to put any clutter and stuff up here because I wanted to keep it traditional and classy. So just enough to sort of bleed into the pirate area, and partly as well because I don't really have a way of making this pathway work with the Indian sandstone and stuff, so I was like, actually, let's just have it blending instead. So this is the main ride area. I have actually done a couple of smoothing passes on this one. It turned out that it kind of needed it. In fact, it really needed it. So I've just done the smoothing pass, and it now rides much, much, much better. Yes, that's what she said. And then in the back here, I've just put the maintenance area and stuff, and then just cluttered it out with a bit of foliage and whatever just to bring it to life. And this is what it now looks like from down here. Now in the future there probably would be some kind of net going over the pathway here. I think health and safety would probably have something to say about it, but right now, as it is 2013, we are just about okay. It would be coming pretty much soon, but we're okay for it right about now. And then over in the whirly rig, this is just the there you go, this is the whirly rig that's going on here. Nothing special happening here. I don't want this to be any more than this. It's perfectly okay. And then our main feature here, I changed the smoke actually to be slightly yellower to give it that vibe of like sand blowing in the wind, sandstorm and stuff. But it of course then has a lighting package for the evenings and stuff. So I didn't want to put foliage in here or rocks or anything. I actually decided to keep it clean. So unlike the channel, so that's what we've got here. So there we go. Here it is from the top. I like it. I really like it, actually. It's starting to fit in with the personality that the park is developing for the modern world. This is the direction the park would have gone in, that whole heavy theming but not expensive Disney-style theming. I'm here for it. Absolutely here for it. So, we're going to go for a ride in a moment, but as always, thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. You know what to do if you like it. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I can't think of any other words that go with that, so you guys are pros at this, right? You already know what to do. So guys, thank you once again. Have an awesome week. I will see you next week. Until we speak again, please look after yourselves. Bye-bye.